To the border crisis, where the numbers are staggering. Customs and Border Protection say it intercepted nearly 19,000 unaccompanied minors last month. That is an all-time high, roughly twice as many in the previous month of February. Total number of children in U.S. custody now more than 20,000 and climbing. Good morning, everybody. It's a Friday. You've almost made it. I'm Bill Hemmer, live in New York.
Good morning. I'm Dana Perino. This is America's Newsroom. That number, Bill, was 19,000 at the beginning of this week. Now we're at nearly 21,000 by Monday. Yeah. You could maybe see that go up by 1,000 a day is what they're estimating.
No signs of it.
Not if they don't make a policy change.
Either.
Absolutely
yeah.
not.
And the price tag is staggering, too, that we'll talk about.
Yeah, $60 million a week. And that's just for the children. And that record high in migrant children is coming after a month of heartbreaking images. Let's just remind everyone. The toddlers dropped over the border wall, left to fend for themselves. An abandoned little boy crying in the desert. A Border Patrol officer comforting a frightened child. The Washington Post reports the administration is spending $60 million a week to take care of these kids, and Texas Governor Greg Abbott laying the blame squarely on the president.
This wasn't taking place to this magnitude before President Biden took office. What President Biden needs to do that will solve this very quickly is if he were to go back and reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy that President Trump put in place overnight. That would begin to solve this overcrowding problem that we're putting up with right now.
So we begin. Alex Hogan is in the border town of Mission, Texas. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Bill. We had the opportunity late last night to join Border Patrol to see this immigration challenge through their eyes. What we saw in the middle of the night, families and lone travelers banding together for safety in numbers, some of them requiring immediate medical attention. Others had been lost in the woods for hours, needing directions to safely get to Border Patrol. Border Patrol Council Vice President Chris Cabrera says that in 20 years of doing this, he's never seen anything like it.
The worst thing we can ever do is become numb to something like that, because that's not normal. But it's becoming all too common to us now that we see these kids that are in situations like that.
The tour was organized through a trip led by House Republican Whip Scalise. The delegation will continue their visit to the border today, meeting with other agencies. Scalise calling on the president to come down here to the border and hear these stories for himself, as well as take immediate action.
You know, the single biggest thing that the president could do today is reverse the order that he did repealing the Remain in Mexico policy. What President Trump did working with Mexico, getting Mexico to be a partner at controlling our southern border, was working.
Among some of the migrants that we met, a 17-year-old boy who was hoping to eventually meet his mother in North Carolina. I spoke with him and he asked me which way is going to lead me to the United States, not even aware that he had finally arrived.
Wow.
Bill, Dana.
Alex, thank you for leading our coverage down there today. Back in a moment there.
Joining us now is the president of the National Border Council, Brandon Judge. Yesterday, Secretary Mayorkas visited the border. Any word about that visit? Any signs of a possible policy change that could help stem this surge?
No sign of a policy change, and that's unfortunate. He's been down to the border a couple times, but I'm going to remind you that President Biden nor Vice President Kamala Harris have come down to the border. And I can tell you that when you see this issue firsthand, you're more willing to make changes. Vice President Pence came to the border, went into the processing facility, saw how it was going, and there were immediate changes that happened right after that visit. So we do need to have the people that are making these decisions come down to the border, see exactly what is going on, so that hopefully they will go back and say, we messed up. We need to go back to what we were doing that solved this issue, that dropped us to 45-year lows in illegal immigration. And then we can get a handle on this and go after the cartels and the drug smugglers and go after those things that are dangerous to the American public.
Brandon, I saw someone last night say that the fact that there have been so many arrests and so many children who have been found and now in American custody, that their argument was that this shows that the Border Patrol is doing what they need to do. They have all that they need. The border security is working. That was their point of view. I was kind of shocked by that comment, but how would you react to something like that?
Yeah, that's upsetting. We were never trained to do a humanitarian mission, although we do it very well. When we have to, we'll step up to the plate and we'll do our jobs. However, we were trained to go after criminal aliens. We were trained to go after cartels. And that's exactly what we want to do. We want to do a law enforcement mission. We want to protect the American public. But when we get flooded with unaccompanied children, when we get flooded with family units, it pulls our resources out of the field and it creates artificial gaps, which allows the cartels to generate billions of dollars of profit. And they're generating that profit off of our policies. And that should upset every single American.
We're coming up on mid-April. If the administration did what you're requesting starting today, let's say, how long would it take to stop the surge?
It's almost immediate. It's like a light switch. Once people understand that they're not going to get released into the country, into the United States, after they cross our borders illegally, they stop coming. But if they know that all they have to do is make an illegal entry and then they're just going to get released to Des Moines, Iowa, Chicago, Illinois, Miami, Florida, if they know that they're going to be released, they're going to continue to come. And that's that magnet that was reintroduced when President Biden rescinded the migrant protections protocols. We've got to go back to what was working, and if we do that, it's just like a light switch.
It's really interesting. I hope you'll come back and visit us soon, because the number of unaccompanied children in federal custody has gone from 19,000 at the beginning of the week to 21,000 already today. Let me give you a last word just about the condition that you're finding these children.
They're deplorable conditions, and it makes me sick that under the Trump administration, there were politicians that were yelling and screaming about kids in cages, yet we're putting these kids in the same exact facilities, and it's mum. They don't say anything. That lets you know that this is politics. It doesn't matter how these kids are, what the condition these kids are under. It's politics, and that's disgusting.
What's the final comment? What does it say about the priorities of this administration to you?
It says that there's no priorities as far as border security goes. You know, I was asked last night, who's controlling the border? Is it President Biden? Is it Kamala Harris? You know, who is it? And my answer was, it's the cartels. The cartels control the borders now. It's not even the Border Patrol. It's not even the U.S. government.
Thank you, sir.